March 8th, 2014. Okay, picture this. A huge Boeing 777 MH370 lifts off from Kuala Lumpur. It's heading to Beijing, packed with 239 people. But then, just 38 minutes into the flight, somewhere over the South China Sea, poof, it just completely vanished.
Yeah, vanished. No mayday call, no distress signal. Civilian radar lost it. Just silence.
It's really chilling when you think about it, and that's why we're doing this deep dive today. It's arguably the biggest aviation mystery we've ever seen. It's not just about a plane, is it? It's about all these unanswered questions.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating, or maybe frustrating, is that we actually have quite a bit of data surrounding it, weirdly enough. Satellite pings, military radar. But even with all the final moments, what really happened? Well, we still know remarkably little.
Right.
So we've dug into the available info, mainly a really comprehensive documentary script, trying to boil it down for you.
Yeah.
Our goal here is to give you a clear pathway through the key facts, cut through some of the noise, and really show the depth of this mystery.
Yeah, connect the dots on what is still, a super complex and honestly baffling timeline.
Exactly.
So our mission for you listening is to walk you through that timeline, look at the actual evidence we do have, touch on the main theories that popped up trying to explain it all, and importantly, remember the human cost. This wasn't just a headline, it changed lives forever. Okay, so let's go back. That night, MH370 leaves Kuala Lumpur. It's 12:41 a.m. You mentioned 239 souls on board, 227 passengers, 12 crew. In charge was Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. Very experienced guy, 53 years old, something like 18,000 flight hours, real veteran.
Yeah, and his co-pilot was Freak Abdul Hamid. Younger, 27, but finishing up his training on this specific aircraft, the 777.
And then comes that crucial moment, 1:19 a.m., just 38 minutes after takeoff. The last words heard from the cockpit, "Good night, Malaysian 370.
And right after that, nothing. As it was about to enter Vietnamese airspace, civilian air traffic control just lost it, wiped clean off their screens.
But that wasn't the whole story, was it? Because later Malaysian military radar picked up something.
Extremely strange. The data showed the plane didn't just disappear or fall out of the sky. It made a sharp turn westward, basically doubled back across the Malaysian peninsula, completely off course.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. That sharp turn back, flying for hours off course. A plane just doesn't do that, right? Not without someone knowing or some kind of mayday call. That detail just turns everything upside down.
It really does. And it immediately raised huge questions. Why turn like that? And critically, why the silence?
Yeah.
No distress signal.
Yeah.
Normally, if there's a major mechanical failure, you'd expect something. An emergency call, automated alerts maybe. But the fact that it kept flying apparently under control for hours on this completely different path, well, that pointed away from a simple accident. It strongly suggested someone intentionally diverted the plane.
Intentional. Wow. And the silence was just deafening, as you said.
It really was.
So naturally, when MH370 just failed to check in with Vietnam, the panic must have set in almost instantly.
Oh, absolutely. And what followed was this massive, unprecedented international search. I think it was 26 countries involved, dozens of ships, aircraft.
Yeah.
A huge operation.
A global effort. But for weeks, months, nothing, right? Just empty ocean, no wreckage, no sign of the black boxes. Imagine the toll that took on the search teams, let alone the family.
Oh, the scale was immense. You're searching these vast areas, communications are difficult, and every day that passed without finding anything. It must have been incredibly tough. It was a huge test of international cooperation, sure, but it also starkly highlighted how hard it is to find something lost in the deep ocean without a good starting point.
Yeah.
They chased every lead, every possibility, but the complete lack of concrete evidence was just deeply demoralizing for everyone.
Then the first real, tangible clue came from somewhere unexpected, didn't it? Satellite data. Inmarsat.
That's right. Inmarsat, a British satellite company, their satellite had been having these automated handshakes with the plane. Little electronic pings.
Pings, like a check-in.
Exactly. Sort of like your phone checking in with a cell tower just to say, I'm still here, I'm still on. And crucially, these pings continued for hours after the plane vanished from radar.
Wow. So the plane was still powered up, still communicating in some basic way.
Yes. And Inmarsat did some pretty groundbreaking analysis on these pings. They looked at the Doppler effect, tiny shifts in the signal frequency caused by the plane's movement relative to the satellite.
Okay, like the sound of an ambulance siren changing pitch as it passes you.
Precisely that principle. And by analyzing those shifts, they could calculate not a specific location, but a series of possible arcs where the plane could have been when each ping was sent. The final ping helped define this massive curve way out in the southern Indian Ocean, which became known as the Seventh Arc. That's where they believe the plane likely ran out of fuel.
The seventh arc. But it's just mind-boggling, isn't it? That in our modern age, with all this tech, these faint electronic handshakes were the only real clue to where a giant Boeing 777 might be. What did that tell us about tracking planes over oceans back then?
It exposed a massive blind spot, really. We thought we had global coverage. But over vast remote oceans like the Indian Ocean, the standard tracking just wasn't there in the same way. The Inmarsat data existed, yeah, but interpreting it for search and rescue like this was completely new territory.
So it wasn't designed for this purpose.
Not at all. It was a brilliant piece of analysis,
Yeah.
but it still left search teams with this enormous area. I think the initial underwater search zone was 120,000 square kilometers in one of the deepest, most remote parts of the planet. Like finding a needle in a haystack, but the haystack is the size of a country and thousands of meters deep.
Unbelievable. And all this time, you had the families. People from all over the world on that plane. 153 from China, 38 Malaysians, people from 12 other countries too. Just waiting. Agonizing.
Yeah, the human element is just heartbreaking. And with that vacuum of information, speculation inevitably rushed in.
Right, the theory started flying. What were the initial investigations focused on?
Well, early on, there was a brief look at terrorism. 2 passengers were found to be traveling on stolen passports. Iranians, I believe.
Ah, I remember that.
But that was fairly quickly ruled out. They seemed to be asylum seekers, not connected to any groups. So attention then swung pretty intensely towards the cockpit, specifically towards Captain Zahiri.
The pilot, and this is where it gets really controversial, doesn't it? The flight simulator.
Yes. Malaysian police examined his home flight simulator. Reports came out, and this is still debated, that they found deleted data showing a flight path plotted deep into the southern Indian Ocean, sort of mirroring where the Seventh Arc suggested the plane went down.
So that fueled the pilot suicide theory.
It certainly fueled speculation. Some experts floated theories around depression, maybe a political protest, or a meticulously planned mass murder-suicide.
Was there any hard proof?
That's the crucial point. No. There was never any conclusive evidence to prove Captain Zahiri deliberately crashed the plane. His family, many colleagues, they fiercely defended him, calling it character assassination. It remains a theory, a possibility investigators had to consider, but it's definitely not a proven fact. And navigating that line between investigation and accusation, especially in the media glare, was incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. And when you have a mystery this big with so few answers, the conspiracy theories just run wild, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. It was a perfect storm for it. You had theories about it being secretly flown to the U.S. base at Diego Garcia, theories about remote hacking, taking control of the plane.
I heard ones about a fire caused by lithium batteries in the cargo hold.
That was another one. Or secret agents, Russians, Chinese, you name it. Someone probably theorized it. And it's understandable in a way. People need explanations, narratives, especially when the official answer is, we don't know. But it created a lot of noise, a lot of confusion.
And none of them were ever proven right.
Not a shred of credible evidence for any of those wilder theories, no.
But then, finally, after more than a year of searching, something did turn up. A real, physical piece of the plane.
Yes, July 2015. Over a year later, a piece of the wing, called a flaperon, washed ashore on Reunion Island, way over on the other side of the Indian Ocean, near Africa.
Reunion Island, and they confirmed it was from MH370.
Definitely. Serial numbers matched. It was the first concrete proof that the plane had, indeed, met its end in the Indian Ocean, likely crashing. It was a huge moment, confirmation at last, but also incredibly sad confirmation.
And other pieces started appearing after that, on different coastlines.
Yeah, over the next few years, maybe 30 or so pieces of debris that were deemed likely or highly likely to be from MH370 washed up Madagascar, Mozambique, Tanzania, Mauritius, scattered across thousands of kilometers of coastline, carried by the currents.
So the debris confirmed the crash location, broadly speaking, but it didn't answer the big question. Why? What was still missing?
The main wreckage, and most importantly, the flight recorders, the so-called black boxes. You have the flight data recorder, FDR, which logs all the plane's parameters, speed, altitude, engine settings, control inputs, everything, and the cockpit voice recorder, CVR, which records all sounds in the cockpit, including conversations.
Those are the keys, aren't they?
They hold the answers. Without them, you can speculate based on radar tracks and debris, but you don't know the sequence of events, what decisions were made, if anyone was even conscious in the cockpit during those final hours. The why and the how remain locked away, presumably on the ocean floor.
So the official investigation, led by Malaysia, Australia, China, they searched for years, spent hundreds of millions of dollars. What was the final conclusion?
It was a painful conclusion. In 2018, they had to suspend the official underwater search. The final report essentially said, well, that they couldn't determine the cause. The team is unable to determine the real cause for the disappearance of MH370. Just like that.
Wow. After all that effort.
Yeah. There was a private search later that year, too, by a company called Ocean Infinity. They had cutting-edge tech, searched a huge new area on a no-fine, no-fee basis, but they found nothing either.
Just nothing. And for the families, 10 years on now, what does that lack of answers mean for them?
It means the wound never really closes. It's this constant gnawing uncertainty. Many still hold vigils. They push for the search to resume. They just desperately want closure, any kind of closure.
And there's also that feeling of being let down, isn't there? By the airline, by the authorities.
A lot of families feel that way, yes. There were criticisms about how the initial hours were handled, the communication, the transparency, a feeling of betrayal for some. It's an ongoing source of pain and frustration.
So looking back over this past decade, what's the legacy of MH370? It's still the only Boeing 777 just lost without a trace. Did anything change because of it?
Oh, definitely. It sent shockwaves through the aviation industry. Things have changed. Flight tracking standards have been improved, especially over remote oceanic areas.
So planes are tracked better now?
Generally, yes. There are requirements for aircraft to report their position more frequently. Satellite communication systems have been upgraded too, aiming for more precise, near real-time tracking globally. And there's arguably better cooperation and data sharing between international bodies now when something goes wrong.
So some positives came out of this terrible tragedy. Lessons were learned.
Absolutely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, MH370 forced a necessary, if painful, reevaluation of safety assumptions and tracking capabilities. The industry responded. But that doesn't change the core mystery.
No.
Despite the advancements, the fundamental questions about MH370 itself, what happened in those final hours, remain unanswered. That silence surrounding its end is still just deafening.
So you've walked through this incredible, haunting story with us. The timeline, the few clues we have, the theories, the lingering questions. It's a story that just doesn't let go, does it?
It really doesn't.
The plane doesn't just vanish. We know that. But somehow, MH370 did. And now, a decade on, the biggest question still hangs there. Will we ever truly know what happened? Will we ever find the truth? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.